Hello everyone. So in the last lecture, we did talk about denture stomatitis and I left it at one point that would you use a tissue conditioner, a soft liner or a hard liner? So I use three terms now. Tissue conditioner, a soft liner and a hard liner. Now what comes to my mind is that if I have used tissue conditioner, what is the need to use soft liner? And when do I actually realize that I'm not supposed to use soft liner but a hard liner? So are there different clinical scenarios there? Keep watching to know more. I am Dr. Riddhi Lalan, prosthodontist and author of Dental Material and Prosthoman Logbook, and today we are going to discuss about one of the very crucial topic, that is tissue conditioners. So as you all know, I often emphasize on the GPT-9 definition. So we'll quickly learn about that and then I'll actually tell you what's the basic understanding behind it. It's a resilient denture liner, resin that is placed into removable prosthesis for a short duration. So what's very important is short duration of time that allows tissue healing. So I understand one thing. It's used for a very short duration of time and it is used to actually allow my tissues to heal. So other thing that now comes to my mind is, then why do we actually use a soft liner? Correct? So what I want you to understand here is that a tissue conditioner is basically a temporary material whose duration of action is very less. Like it's only used for days. We cannot even use it for weeks. And the only purpose that they are supposed to solve is to allow the tissues to heal. The only thing. So it's all related to healing of tissues. So now wherever you see abused tissues, if you want to give them that time to heal, you're supposed to use your tissue conditioners. Now you can recall from the previous lectures that I said that don't wear the dentures. Ask the patient to discontinue wearing the dentures. And now what I'm telling is that you actually give them tissue conditioners. Why? Because the patient will not go so many days without wearing anything. So what you do is you just place something like a cushion that's actually going to act like a barrier and not let that friction cause any other harm. It's going to give that time, space and the tenderness to the tissues to come back to its original health. So this was about your tissue conditioner. So the next thing that we would be looking at would be the classification. It can be based on multiple things. First would be based on curing. Now, as we have our PMMA, we are going to have our categories called tissue conditioners. They can self-cure, heat cure or light cure. What I want you to do is go back to your dental material video and let me know what were the initiators and the activators used in all three of the systems. That's where the composition changes, right? So go back, watch the video and let me know in the comment section. Based on the composition, it can either be acrylic that we usually use, but we know that silicone is that elastomer that actually has, flexibility, bouncy nature that's actually going to act like the cushion. So this can also be considered. At the same time, phthalate ester free compounds can also be used and fluoride containing liners are the recent advancement. How long do I want to use it? Is it for temporary, short term or definitive? If I'm talking about definitive, what I'm talking about here is the hard and soft liners and not the tissue conditioner. Tissue conditioners will always fall under the short term and temporary category. Based on the consistency, again, hard and soft liners. So it is basically about the liner here. And how well do they react with water or absorb water will be hydrophobic and hydrophilic in nature. So let's quickly talk about the composition now. So as we know that PMMA has basic composition of polymer consisting of PMMA. This also has polymethyl methacrylate, propyl methacrylate, butyl methacrylate, but along with that, one important thing, that gives that flexibility. The cushioning property is the silicone rubber. And the monomer is actually going to have mixture of ester and ethyl alcohol. It does not contain monomethyl acrylate, but it contains ester and alcohol. It will have plasticizer. Now, this is one of the very important thing that you need to remember. Whenever there is going to be loss of plasticizer, it is going to lose that flexible property. It's going to harden. And that's the reason that we don't use it for a very long duration of time. Because after a certain amount of time, your plasticizers are going to leach out. And the mass is going to convert from cushion to something like a brick. And it's no more usable. So let's just quickly understand how exactly do we use this tissue conditioners. First thing is that you scrape the intaglio surface. Always remember that towards tissue. The denture surface that comes towards tissue is being scraped. Why are we scraping it? Because I want to create space for my tissue conditioner. The next thing that I'm going to do is apply tissue conditioner evenly. Now this one word is going to make the entire difference. Why so? Because if it's spread evenly, will I ensure that there is no sore spots being created. The pressure is also distributed evenly. Imagine you're sitting on one pillow and you're sitting on 3 pillows. What's going to happen? You're going to be more bouncy here. And this is not going to be bouncy. Again, rocking. You understood the denture stomatitis etiological factors, right? We don't want that to happen. It has to be evenly done. Then the third step is that we ask the patient to close in centric relation. This is also very important. This is where the material is going to flow all over and record the abused tissue and create an even space all around. So you ask the patient to close in centric, hold it for a while. You will always have a setting time for it. Once the material is set, you remove it, and the last thing that you do is trim the excess material, because you don't want this flashes to again create that bounciness, irritate the adjacent mucosa, labial mucosa, buccal mucosa. No, it has to perfectly blend with your oral cavity. So once this is done, it's good to be given for few days. Now, what I want it to be is one property, viscoelastic. What is meant by viscoelasticity? It flows under pressure and becomes rigid when the pressure is removed. Color stability, this is not of great importance, but yes, we do consider this. It has to have good adhesion. Imagine you use it and it is just out. Like, when you make that alginate impression, you have tray in your hand and alginate in the patient's mouth. Imagine something like that happening with tissue conditioner. It's going to be a havoc. So you want it to adhere to the denture and not to the oral cavity. Dimensionally has to be stable, should be very easy to repair. At the same time, biocompatible, economical. We should be able to store it for a longer duration of time, definitely, and should not have any taste or odor. I don't want to constantly have a taste in my mouth. I want my tissues to heal, not have that feeling of, I want to puke because it's smelling or tasting. And also, it shouldn't cause any irritation or toxicity. So now, where am I exactly going to use all of these? First thing is abused tissue. So I know that denture stomatitis, classical example, and one of the standard treatment would be to use your tissue conditioner post-extraction care, wherein you want your sockets to heal properly. At the same time, ill-fitting denture. So what you do, you just slightly remove the intaglio surface, evenly spread your material and improve the fit. Now this is not something that you can use adjunct to your relining and rebasing. You have to verify. Okay. Tissue conditioners is only supposed to be used for a very short span of time. So what you need to understand is you need to reline or rebase if you are looking for durability. At the same time, surgical splint. Now, because it is used as a surgical splint, there are going to be multiple changes in anatomical landmarks. And every time are you going to sit and fabricate a new splint, record new intaglio surface, process it, go with FI? No. You just keep on relining using the tissue conditioners. What is it going to do? Two purpose. It's going to ensure proper fit, at the same time allow the tissues to heal. And once you actually have surpassed that healing phase, you can then convert it into your final prosthesis. So let's talk about advantages and disadvantages. The first advantage is that it's non-invasive. I don't have to worry about incising, removing the tissue, soft tissue, hard tissue, recontouring, or letting the patient go through any pain. So it's non-invasive. At the same time, comfort is definitely going to improve because it's going to adapt well, right? At the same time, immediately, one appointment is all it takes to give a tissue conditioner. You just do it chairside. You don't have to send it to the laboratory. So this is going to avoid additional laboratory step. So this is an advantage, but this is not going to last for a very long time. If you think, okay, let me just use a tissue conditioner or a soft liner and let the patient just adjust. Fix-on ki jagah ye de diya. No denture adhesive, let's use liners. No, no, no. Also one thing, you need to understand that these tissue conditioners or soft liners has the potential for fungal growth. Yes, there are n number of articles that have actually shown that using a soft liner led to the growth of fungus. And that is not what we want. So you need to avoid all of these scenarios. It only has to last for a short duration. You identify and then you provide the correct treatment plan. There is going to be wear and tear. The plasticizer is going to leach out at one point of time and it's going to lose the elasticity. It's no more going to be elastic. It's no more going to serve the purpose. And durability is very less. So hence, it's just a temporary solution. You're just calming down the patient, letting the tissues heal. In the meanwhile, you come up with the next plan. How you plan to actually address this issue. So this was about your tissue conditioner. Let's just quickly understand and solve the MCQ. The property that allows the tissue conditioner to adapt to mucosa, I don't even want to see at the options. I know it's viscoelasticity. Major disadvantage of tissue conditioners, they are excellent, but they are short-term use. At the same time, just a temporary solution. And they can lead to fungal growth. So definitely not a permanent solution. One additional point that I would like to include here would be that if you see the maxillofacial prosthesis, it also requires multiple number of times to be relined. And here, soft liners play a very crucial role, but we cannot use soft liners for lifetime. No, again, the maxillofacial prosthesis is a very crucial thing because it's going to have communication with your nasal cavity. You don't want that moist mucus to come in contact with soft liner, have proliferation and growth of bacteria and lead to any further complications. So please understand that it becomes your responsibility as a dentist to replace this material at its desirable amount of time. So to conclude, I would say that you use a tissue conditioner when the tissues are abused. So when you actually want them to heal. You use a soft liner where there is no inflammation, but the patient complains of chronic soreness. And you use a hard liner when the denture is loose, but the tissues are healthy. All of this can be used chairside to save your time. So tissue conditioners can only be used for days, ideally 5 to 7. Soft liners can range from weeks to 3 months. Hard liners can work for a longer duration of time depending on what are the changes. So it's like a very long duration and durability. But you need to make sure that you have kept the patient on constant follow-up. Whenever you see that the tissues are suffering, you need to step in and take a call. So this was all about your tissue conditioners and liners, and I hope you now know when to use what. And if you also like making notes just like me, go download the app today. Along with the mind map, you can also write and add your own notes. It's a fun feature and you should give it a try. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.